All right, thank you for joining me today on Instinctive Addiction Archery. I'm Jeff Phillips, and I want to bring you something that I hope you'll enjoy today. We're right down to the wire. Everybody's getting ready to hunt, and as for me, I'm a month solid now into working on setting up the perfect arrow broadhead combination for my bows, okay? So the point of this video is to hopefully be able to help you and guide you in what you might want to try for yours if you're already down to the wire and you're still undecided. Maybe you don't know exactly what you want to run out of your bow, so I'm going to give you a little bit of tip that may help you and show you what I have found to be the best, very best for me, okay? I'll start with my longbow, guys. Now, my longbow, my little takedown longbow, is a 46 pound at 28-inch bow. I'm drawing about 45 pounds with this bow, okay? So I have went for the perfect match for this bow. I went with the East of Legacy, standard 5/16 diameter arrow for this bow, cut 28.5. These are 500s. They're 8.3 grains per inch, 100 grain brass inserts, and 175 grain VPA 3 blade head, and they shoot extremely well. Flight out of this combination it's just incredible, guys. It is just so incredibly accurate. They fly so well. I'll shoot one in the old target for you and show you right quick how good they shoot. Perfect as perfect can be. They hit exactly where you're looking, just like a field tip. There's no variance to anything. So this bow was very easy to tune. Very, very easy. I shot gold tip traditionals. I shot axis. I shot 2 or 3 other kinds of arrows out of it, and I found that this combination here really flew better than anything. And I mean, as far as testing an arrow at long distance, 30+ yards, where you really can see the flight of that arrow. If your bow is tuned perfectly, and I'm saying bare shaft at first, which is what I did. I took one of these bare shaft before I ever started this build, and I had nothing on it but my wrap, and I always put my wraps on there, and if I'm going to shoot a luminoc, I put a luminoc on, because that thing weighs probably 25 grains or 27, whatever it is. So the more weight you have on the back of the shaft, the stiffer that it makes the shaft. It actually stiffens it up a little bit. So I took a bare shaft with 175 grain field tip, 100 grain brass insert, luminoc, and a wrap with no feathers. And when I tuned it out of this bow, getting my knock height set just perfectly, where I didn't have any tail high kick, where it was just level straight, hitting the target at about 15 yards, and my right and left was perfect. I had no weak or no stiff whatsoever. It was right. So when I put these broadheads on, I expected it to be right, and it was. They shoot wonderful, guys. Definitely, if I don't hit with this bow, it is not the bow's fault. It is so incredibly accurate. But it's not the powerhouse that this one is. It's a very good shooting bow. But I have a serious hunting bow here. And when I say serious, this is the killer right here. My Recurve. All right. My Recurve, guys, is a 51 pound at 28-inch bow. That's right, 51 at 28. So I'm drawing 49 pounds. Still very comfortable for me. Smooth drawing, comfortable weight. I don't have to struggle with this bow at all. So 49 pounds, I had to step up to a 400. I tried a multitude of arrows out of this thing, and the 400s were minimum spine that I could shoot out of this bow with any kind of weight up front at all, anything. My first arrow that I set up that shot really, really good out of it was a cheap Easton 6.5. Cheap Easton 6.5. I bare shafted these. I put the brass inserts in these. Bare shafted them. They shot great, fine, no problems at all. Gold tip traditional shot fine out of it. I shot some 204 inside diameter arrows, like the bare bow arrows, the axis and whatnot. They didn't seem to want to shoot as good out of this bow as I liked. I had a little bit of erratic flight. No, even when I had bare shafted this bow perfect with a bare shaft, I still had erratic flight out of some different arrows. They just, the nature of them, they didn't want to do well out of this bow. So I started head scratching, thinking, okay, I'm in for a real challenge to get the perfect arrow for this bow. This was as close as I got. and it still wasn't perfect. I could still see just a tiny bit of kick at long distance, just a tiny bit, but it hit where I was looking. I just wasn't satisfied. So I started bare shaft tuning. A multitude of arrows, and I could bare shaft certain arrows, and I'm not going to call their names, but there were certain arrows that I bare shafted that on the bare shaft with a field tip were great, but I put that broadhead on them and fletched them, and I had erratic flight. So I'm like, how can this be? What is this arrow not liking? What is happening here? Went for probably 2 weeks tinkering with that, cutting them, trying this, trying that, and it was close. I got some of them to shooting relatively good, but not perfect. Then I run up on a set of arrows that I had. For 2 years I've had these arrows laying in my rack that I built 2 years ago. I have not shot them. Got on a whim one day and just tried these things, and I may have shot them once or twice out of a different bow or whatnot, but they've been in there in the tube for the longest time. And I thought, you know, I'm going to try these. It kind of looks like a really cool match for this bow, so I'm going to try them and see what happens. Wow, here they are, gold tip Airstrike. That's right. These arrows were introduced to the compound market a couple of years ago for long distance accuracy, extreme long distance accuracy, 70 and 80 yard stuff. That's what they were brought to the market for. And I bought them thinking, well, if they're that accurate out of compound, they'll be accurate out of a traditional bow as well. So I bought them, I built them. I shot them once or twice, and for some reason put them away, never did really put them to work. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna try this. And when I did, I was blown away, guys. So let me tell you about the build before I shoot them, and I'm gonna show you what's up with them. First of all, these are extremely lightweight shafts. We're talking, they would do good to be 7 grains per inch. They are really light shafts. And I run 120 grains worth of insert on these things. That is a ethics system. The ethics system, which is a stainless steel post, stainless steel sleeve, 120 grains worth of insert makes this arrow indestructible. And I thought, okay, I'm going to shoot 175 grain head on these, just like I had in a 400. Okay, so we're still on the 400s now. That's what this particular arrow is right here. This is a 400 gold tip Airstrike that is cut 29 inches. It's a ½ inch longer than my other ones because of the ethics system. That's what I did with them. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna bare shaft one of these and see what it does. So I took one of them, and I had only inserted them. I had not fletched them at that point. They were raw shafts, and I had put the ethics system on them, and that's as far as I got with them. So I fletched or shot them bare shaft first, and they were perfect. They were bullet perfect. I thought, that ought to be good. So I went ahead and I put wraps on them, and I put feathers on them. I'm going to show you guys what these things do, and then I'm going to shoot them in a 340 with 200 grain heads, and show you what a 600 grain arrow will do, and how fast it is, and how good it flies. Wow. So for the 400s right now, I've got the 400s right now with the 120 grain inserts in them and 175 grain heads. And these, I'm going to weigh one of these because I know these weigh 590 grains without a luminoc, 590. So they're right at a 600 grain arrow. Okay, these in a 400 cut at 29, they are 575 grains. Not bad. That's a 575 grain arrow. So very good weight for a 49 pound bow that I'm pulling. I'm pulling 49 pounds, so very good acceptable weight. But I'm going to shoot both of these for you. I'm going to show you what they do, guys. These things are ridiculous. They are. They're so incredibly accurate. Wow. They're quick. they are quick. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. Here's the other 400, the match to that arrow with the broadhead. I just happen to have a 175 grain broadhead on this one. I'll shoot it. And I'll focus right there beside that other one with the field tip that I just shot. Almost knocked the knockoff of it there that far apart. God, they fly good. They don't play, man. They don't play. Now, 340. A 340 being stiffer allowed me to put a 200 grain broadhead on this one and up my total point weight to 320 grains. 320 grains. You're talking massive front of center. I mean, this thing's so, I don't know what percent it is, guys, but my Lord, this thing has got the front weight. I mean, it does. It is awesome. Now, these are cut 30 inches. Just because they were a 340 out of this bow, I've cut these 30 inches and put a 200 grain on the front of it, running a full 320 up front. And they shoot just like the other ones. They do. Bam. Right there by it. God, them things are bad. I mean, we're talking massive penetration, man. You're not stopping one of those things. They are going to get it done. So, if you're looking for the ultimate build, let's just say if you've got a bow that is somewhere in the upper 40s, a really good performing bow in the upper 40s, be it a recurve, be it whatever, and you want an arrow that will fly a broadhead phenomenal. And I'm going back to all my bear shaft testing and my other brand testing that I did and different arrows. When those arrows would not fly a broadhead, even when they bear shaft tuned, it left me scratching my head wondering why. What is going on? And when I bear shaft tuned the Airstrike and then put the broadhead on it, it flew exactly like it did. It was perfect. It was flawless. So I can't tell you exactly what's going on because I don't know, but I do know this much. I do know that a gold tip Airstrike with an ethics system on it running 300 to 320 grains on the front of it is the very best flying arrow that I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen anything to beat it and have the penetration that it's got, because it will far out penetrate a standard arrow. It just will. And I believe it's because of the drag. When your broadhead cuts its hole, you've got a little bit bigger shaft that's dragging through the flesh and whatnot, and they're going to do fine. But the smaller diameter arrows, it just seems like there's just nothing to stop them. Once that head goes through and that much FOC on an arrow, it just blasts through whatever. I mean, the penetration is phenomenal with those things. But anyway, guys, either setup is fine. They are. But if you're looking for the ultimate setup, try use something like this. Even if it's not an Airstrike, try use something that is lightweight shafted, super tough, light and tough, that you can load the front up. 300 grains plus. And I believe you'll be real happy. I believe you'll be extremely happy as I was. So thank you guys for joining me. I pray God bless you, and everything that we do, bring honor and glory to Him. Lord is so good. And we are so excited to be right here at hunting season and getting all these bows dialed in. And I have finally got both of my rigs ready to go to the woods. I mean, man, they are ready. So it's time to climb. That's it, guys. Thank you, and God bless you.